Listen, when things are going great, it's super easy. All these positives. But it's when things don't go great, what defines you as a business. Sometimes the negative ones and how you respond to that are actually really important during the time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Growth Media Marketing Series. Tony and I are going to talk about the top 10 things that are hurting your Google business profile and how to fix them. With all of the changes that have been implemented with Google Business Profile, we thought it was important to kind of address these things so that you can be on top of your Google business page and make sure that it's performing for you. Let's dive in.
I know it sounds straightforward, but for whatever reason, there's still a lot of local businesses that they have them set up, right? But the problem is that they don't have them completely filled out, right? And I think with a lot of the changes as far as what Google's doing with a lot of the SEO and the qualifications, right? People should be aware that this is really hurting your business, and that ultimately, if it hurts your business, it's going to hurt your pocket. You know what I mean? As far as like potential clients come in. So I think this is super important for us to go over these top 10 topics and kind of review them because this is important for if you're a local business or any business in general, but especially local businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't have your Google business page set up in your local business, it's super important to do that. So start there
Yeah.
before you jump into all of these things.
So let's start at number one. I think a lot of it is just having incomplete business information, right?
Yeah, most common. Something is missing, whether it's not having your business hours or your phone number there accurately, your address isn't up to date, you've moved or relocated or changed your PO box, right? Those are very common things that we see that are super simple fixes.
Yeah. When we say fill everything out, like everything, like, included your spot for your social media accounts and all these things, right? So just make sure you fill out every piece of information. And if you do that, you'll get like a little not rank and score, but at least it'll sit there and say, hey, you filled out 100% of what you're supposed to. So that is as basic as it comes, and it's very obvious. But man, there's a lot of businesses that we look at every day that they haven't even done that. So
Yeah.
that would be number one.
Yeah. To circle back for a minute, the reason that's important is because if you don't have that information, Google doesn't show you as often, especially not in comparison to your competitors who have filled that information out. And if I am a customer viewing that and your information isn't complete, I might not have as much trust, right? How do I contact you? Are you even legitimate? Are you open? I can't even find your hours versus me finding a business that has all of that information filled out. And I'm definitely seeing them before I'm seeing you because Google's ranking them higher.
To give you guys more of a visual, so if you ever do a search for, or I'll use a plumber or whatever, usually it comes up with what they call the map pack, and you're going to see like all these businesses. So there's a very good potential that even if you might be closer to that customer, if you don't have the information filled out, you're going to actually get buried. So it's super important. And, these people don't even know you exist. And, maybe you're 15th on that list now or 20th, but you all know that they're not going to go that much further, right? To maybe another page or whatever to look for that. Because it's just a lot too much work. People want instant action. So don't not fill things out and let that hurt you. Man, just please do that because you don't want to lose out on business. So that's why this stuff's super important. Don't take this lightly.
So, the next thing we want to make sure that you are doing is posting regularly. And this is number one that people constantly are posting on all their other social media platforms, but they forget that Google business page is where they can post as well. And locally, what do people do is barber near me, plumber near me. So it's super important to be posting there so that you are showing up. So that fresh content is there because Google loves that.
Maybe several years ago wasn't as important. So, people were always like, oh, I got to go do my Facebooks or my Instagram or whatever your favorite platforms are. And the most important place to post is actually Google,
Mhm.
right? Because if you don't, what happens is if you don't post for a couple weeks, Google may think that you're not active anymore. Your business is closed. Your visibility is going to drop. So you got to be able to at least, I don't know, 2, 3 times a week, share photos, offers, any updates, tips. It just, again, signals to Google and also obviously potential, clients or customers that you're active and engaged. Right. So it is a big change, by the way, but this has become so important. So you can't ignore it.
The next one is, believe it or not, low quality or no photos. So making
Hmm.
sure that you have photos that are an accurate representation of your business. No one wants to visit a business that looks shady or outdated. So making sure that your
Yeah.
profile photo is there so that first and foremost it's there, and then that it's actually a quality photo that will represent your business. I mean, you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward when you're meeting people, and that's exactly what you're doing with your Google business page.
Yeah. If things look clean, what I mean by that, it's not blurry, you can actually see what's going on. The way you present yourself is a reflection of your business. So if all of a sudden you go on the Google business profile and all these things are blurry, someone's going to make an impression, based on that photo, right? Now, if you see happy customers, you see your team members, trucks or whatever it happens to be, right? It just shows people, wow, this is a place that I want to go visit, or this is a company that I want to do business with. Look, they have a whole team of people that can help me. So it's again so important to have these photos. And with phones today, there is no excuse. If you have one of these cameras are super high def. You can post right from your phone to your Google business profile. So it's no excuse for not having any photos on your profile.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
And negative
Yeah,
reviews,
here we go.
they happen. And people, the first thing I hear is, I got a negative review. How do I get it off there? And I kind of chuckle because the reality is it's going to happen. I mean, not everyone is going to have the best experience all of the time. It isn't the end of the world. What matters most
Yeah.
when you get that negative review is how you respond to it. So, negative
Yep.
reviews, if you don't respond to them on Google, it actually does work against you. So, ignoring that makes it so much worse, especially if you're replying to other reviews. I mean, it tells Google that you don't care. I don't really care about their experience. I'm not going to reply to it, but you're replying to others. So,
Yep.
negative reviews, you need to make sure that you are responding to them. You want to be professional. You want to make sure that you apologize, clarify. And sometimes we get a lot of, well, they didn't do business with me. I don't even know what this is about. And you say that in your reply. And a lot of times now, Google with their AI will remove that. They'll see, hey, please contact the store. We have no record of doing business with you or this interaction. Please call us. We'd
Right.
like to make this right. And usually that flags that this probably isn't legitimate. So that's something you definitely want to make sure that is not working against you. Make sure you reply to those negative reviews.
With some of the more recent releases that Google has been putting out, they are improving their tools for reporting potential spam, and things like that, just kind of making it easier. Before it was like really hard because it was like you can't dispute a
Mhm.
review. It's like I get this random 1 star. I have no idea who this person is. They're not even in my customer base, as an example. Google is putting time and effort into providing you with those tools. I wouldn't want to ignore it. If they're spending time on these things, improving it and fixing things, that means that it's important enough to Google to put a team of people to update these things. Listen, when things are going great, it's super easy. All these positive views. But it's when things don't go great, what defines you as a business owner or a business. Sometimes the negative ones and how you respond and how you deal with that are actually more important than the positive ones. That just defines a lot of your character and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking about reviews, we go to our fifth, which is not having
Yeah.
any reviews at all. And doesn't that hurt?
And how many times, oh, I don't care. I don't have time for that. You hear this stuff by business
Mhm.
owners. Again, red flag. I've been in business for 20 years and I got 4 reviews. What does that tell somebody?
Mhm.
That's weird, right? It doesn't make sense. It's not normal, right?
Not in the digital world. I mean, we talk to a lot of
No.
people who have been in business for a really long time and they push referrals and like, I don't need to be on Google. I don't need this information. And we're seeing a lot of them now ask, how can I improve my reach and visibility? And what are you doing on your Google business
Yep.
profile? When's the last time you updated it? How many people have reviewed your business there? And it's like people love them, but they're not helping their digital presence by not leaving reviews. So it's important to put your best foot forward
Yep.
and make sure that you are asking for those reviews at the end of your service and just say, hey, do you mind taking a few seconds to leave me a review? How many
Right.
times do I walk into a business, ice cream parlor, wherever, and they have those little QR codes now, leave me a review on Google. It's becoming that
There's no
much more
excuse.
important to people. And if
Yeah.
you see that with larger businesses, it's just as important for the smaller local ones because, again, people are saying, let me find this person near me. And if you don't have those reviews, how do I know you're offering a great service? The trust isn't there.
So again, we're talking about rankings,
Yeah.
and rankings are SEO related. It's bots, it's things that look, for information. So if There's no reviews. What do you think a robot's going to say? Here's a business that says it's been in business for this long, but has no reviews or very little reviews. And then when I look at other businesses in this niche or area or expertise, the average business at worst has 100 plus. It automatically, the robot has no idea that it's me or whoever it happens to be. It looks at information, it's either there or not, and says, okay, drop, irrelevant, get them out of here because I don't want this to show up for my customers. Because again, customers for Google are the people that are searching.
Mhm.
It's one of those things where it's like, so you've been for 20 years and it's all word of mouth. I get it, right? You know what I mean? But from a Google standpoint of view, they don't know that. They're not talking to your referrals and things like that. So that's why it's important because these robots are what's deciding as far as where you rank in the world. So
Mhm.
again, just get reviews. No excuse nowadays.
All right, number 6,
Yeah,
using
this one's funny.
yeah,
This one's funny.
using keywords the wrong
Used
way.
to be a thing back in the day. So back in the day, what used to happen was the more times you see your keyword, whatever, pick one, sell pizza, right? What it used to be is like, oh, okay, so this person says pizza 152 times on this page, right? So they
They
must be
must
a
sell pizza.
pizza joint or something like that. Exactly, right? So, but that was a long time ago. But we still sell people nowadays when they're writing their descriptions saying we're the best pizza place in this area. We sell pizza, and this pizza is this and that, and pizza, 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 pizza. Not to comment to Caesar pizza, pizza. Google knows that. It's keyword stuffing, right? And guess what? It's going to penalize you for that. And the other thing is, no one speaks that way.
Mhm. Yeah, it doesn't feel natural.
Yeah,
7?
7. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, yeah.
Choosing the wrong primary category when you are creating your Google business profile. So making sure that if you're a bakery, I'm talking about pizza, right? You're not listing that you sell pizza. If what you do is actually sell baked
Right,
goods
right.
primarily. Like that's what you need to be doing as your primary business category.
If there's other categories that fit your business, you want to try to also do that as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So
add
again,
additional
relevant to your
ones.
business. Yeah, absolutely. The more categories you can add yourself,
Mhm.
just gives you the potential of showing up in the category. But again, just as long as they align with your business. Google's smart enough to put two and two together, right? And say, something's wrong. They're trying to deceive somebody. Make sure you list your stuff in the category.
Yeah, your
The proper
primary,
category,
most
excuse me.
important, and then the additional ones too.
Yep.
All right, we're moving right along. Number 8, not having
Yeah.
your products or services listed.
It sounds obvious,
Mhm.
right? But how many times do we go, do an audit on someone's Google business profile and it's not there?
Yeah.
How is somebody supposed to know what you do?
Mhm.
The other thing is that you're missing out on keyword rich content and conversation opportunities. So please do that.
If you add your pricing and
Yeah.
your main services, it doesn't have to be all of them. You can list your
Exactly.
main services that are the most revenue generating, include those
Yep.
descriptions. There's some keywords you can add without the keyword stuffing. You can utilize that to your advantage when you do those things.
Pretty straightforward. But these things have a big impact,
They
and
do.
not having one of them hurts. So,
Mhm.
all right, let's get to number 9.
Number 9, something we've talked about many, many
Yeah.
times because it's important, is making sure that your name, address, and phone number are consistent. So, what you put in your Google business profile is the same that you have on your social media, is the same that you have all across
Yeah.
your website, and that it matches everywhere. So, if you've moved, changed your PO box, whatever it is, make sure that that is accurate and consistent, most importantly.
The tricky thing is too, so sometimes they're random directories. I don't know if you ever seen this where you get an email like, hey, somebody did an inquiry on this website. It's a directory, right? And you go there, your information's filled in properly, right? And again, it's one of those things where they're trying to get you to sign up with the platform.
Mhm.
That said, if you don't fix those directories or identify like where does my name show up and make sure that all of that stuff is there, you can have 80% of them right, whatever the number happens to be, right? But Google will sit there and say, wait a minute, out of these 100 directories, most of them look consistent, but then these other ones are like all over the place, right?
Mhm.
So again, what does Google say? It's a robot. It doesn't know. It can't analyze data and say, well, this is just a mistake. It's just going to sit there and say, I can't really trust this because there's information that's not consistent.
Mhm.
The good news is there are things, different tools that you can use to kind of pull all the potential directories and help you kind of get all that stuff consistent across the board. It's all about trust.
Last one, no engagement with your Q&A section. How many of us have Q&As on our Google business profiles and you're not answering them?
Wait, hold on. Do you even know if that existed? Like, honestly, people have no clue that they're even on there. It's funny because if you start doing searches, if you start asking questions, what you see, there's an area that you start to see people normally ask this, and then there's all these things that kind of answer it. So yeah, it's there. Like, the other strategy too is like kind of like the FAQ. You should populate those on your own. In that section, in that same area that we're talking about, list your own questions. Like, hey, these are the top 10 things that people normally ask. Boom, give your answer. Boom, give your answer. Boom, give your answer. Again, it builds SEO, whether people asking you questions populated or you populate it yourself. Again, you're losing a lot of potential real estate, a lot of potential traffic by just ignoring some of these things. And the people that do it a little bit better get put ahead. You see, you care because you're responding back, to your customers and things like that, right? So,
and you could be missing a lead because they're asking you a question, right? They could have potentially got their question answered and walked into your business.
Absolutely. That's kind of where that's at.
And those are the top 10 things.
Yeah.
Pause this video, go take a look, make sure it's accurate, come back, let us know. Really, in all seriousness, Google Business Profile is your digital storefront, right? So you need to treat it like the front door when people walk into your business. Make sure that it's presenting you accurately, making sure that your information is all there. Just go through, take a look at all those things. Easy to do also. It's not going to take a ton of time for you to go through and just make sure this is working. And if it's something that you're like, my time is valuable, I don't want to deal with this, hit us up and we're happy to help address any of those issues.
A large majority, once they know this is important, they'll at least get everything filled out.
Yeah.
And it's the posting part that I see, or the Q&As and all that stuff is usually where people kind of fall off the wagon here. And that's where a lot of our clients, come to us and stuff like that. With the emphasis on local business, being so strong, what I mean, Google making it important, which is great news for us, by the way. Keep some of the bigger chain stores and things like that out. You guys got to be doing this. And I know we talk about this a lot. You go to Google because they're the best search engine, because they give you the best information. So they're not going to put stuff out there or show things to people that they don't think is worth showing. Google's just going to say, like, would I want to show this listing to the person looking for the service? I mean, again, I know it sounds silly, but just think about it. They'll bury you. So at least do that, because if you have everything filled out, you're showing an effort, you're posting to Google, it says, okay, these people are alive, they're well, they're active. So this is somebody I want to put in front of our customer. If Google shows bad web pages or bad results or gives the wrong information, there's a chance that that person may not go back to use Google. So Google's protecting their best interest as well, just like we need to protect our best interest as well. So that's why this stuff is so crucial. Listen, sometimes they don't even make it to your website because they get all the information you need here and they make the call. They go there and you get the call right from there. If they want more information and they want to see more about you guys, then they'll click to the website and stuff like that. But so many of what I've seen and some of the results, we show customers at the end of the month as an example, how many leads came in through their profile itself, how much traffic their profile got, how many clicks they got. They didn't even make it to the site. That's why it's so important to do that, because if you do it right, you're going to get those calls. You're going to get those leads, right? You know what I mean? And they won't necessarily even have to go to your site. They'll get them right from your profile.
Yeah, that makes a really good point too, to make sure you're taking a minute to go look at the dashboard and the analytics of your Google business page. Are you getting those calls? Are you getting the clicks and the foot traffic, right? Like, is that generating traffic for you? And if not, make sure you're looking at all of the 10 things, because there's probably something missing there.
And here's the thing too. If you do it wrong, that's the other problem too, right? If you do it wrong, or if you try to mislead, right, Google will catch you and block you, which then no one can find you. We take this stuff seriously, because if you're serious about your business, you should be serious about this part as well.
If you've liked what we talked about today, subscribe to our channel, comment, leave us a review. Let us know if you have any other questions as well. We're happy to answer them on our next video. So make sure you subscribe.